always start with the ears. If you start with the ears, you're gonna slowly desensitize the dog to water on the face. You don't wanna start with the nose or the face because that could be scary. So start with the ears, it's a little less scary and you're kind of easing the dog into it. Let's talk about ways you can wet the dog's face. I have a pitcher filled with water. You can use a pitcher to put water on the dog. So I'm gonna show you this technique first. So anytime the dog wants to sniff and explore what you're doing, allow them to feel like they're a part of it. You can see her reaction. I'm just gonna start slowly, just do her ear only. When you're rinsing the dog's ear, you just wanna keep the ear folded down. Her ears are pretty easy, but if you have a dog that has ears that stick straight up, go from behind so that you don't get water in the ear. And if you do accidentally get water in the ear, just let the dog shake it out. They'll shake it out, it'll be okay. You can also do an ear wash with ear cleaner, that might help. But just as long as the dog can shake, it should be okay. Another method you can do is to get a squeeze bottle. A squeeze bottle you can get on Chewy.com, Amazon, Love Groomers, Ryan's Pet Supply, Pet Edge. This is just a great thing to have if you wash your dog at home. I would recommend having a dedicated squeeze bottle that's only used for water. And what you can do is squeeze this over their face like this, and just make sure the water's warm and cozy. And I'm using my thumb to kind of work the water into the roots. And this is a very gentle way to get the dog's face wet. You can see how she's kind of having a reaction. I'm not stopping based on her reaction, and I'm not baby talking too much. I'm just kind of having a neutral energy. I'm using my thumb and I'm massaging the water into her face. Another tip, use a sponge, dip the sponge in the water like this. And you can get these sponges. I'm working on my own version of the sponge. This is heading your way sometime soon. Dip the sponge into the water, absorb the water, and then use the sponge to just squeeze the water over the face. This is a little less scary as well. And you could see the water's kind of puddling in between. Just use your thumb and work it in and just kind of squeeze the water. Because it's really important to wash your dog's face. A lot of times I see people and they're like, I washed my dog, and it's like mostly this and the top of their head. But you have to get into all these little crevices. You have to get under the lips because that's where the yuckies hide. If your dog is pretty much okay with water, you can take one of these. This is just from Home Depot. Yeah, it's just like a hose from Home Depot. You can attach this to your shower if that's where you're bathing your dog. Just have a really gentle flow and just don't press really hard. And just start with the ears and just let the water just kind of dribble on the top of the head, and then it'll slowly drip in onto the face. Before you apply shampoo, you just want to make sure that the face is completely saturated. So see how she's having a bigger reaction to this? So depending on your dog, you can just sort of adjust your technique. Cutie. So before you add shampoo, always make sure that the face is completely wet and saturated. Don't apply shampoo to a dry face because it's gonna be really hard to rinse it out. It's just gonna take forever. And I usually use about this much for shampoo. This is the Tropiclean Blueberry Facial. There's so many face washes on the market. Keep in mind, they say they're tearless, but they're not. So avoid getting shampoo in the eyes. And if you do get shampoo in the eyes, I'll show you what to do. So I'm just going to rub the shampoo in my hands and just slowly start applying it and working it into the root of the face. So I really want to get all over here. I'm just really going to get under her lips. It's totally safe to get it here under her lips. I kind of saw my hands together like this to get the ears. She's got really glorious long ears, so I want to make sure that I get them as clean as possible. A lot of grime and stinkies like to hide under the ear right here. So I'm really washing everything. And you can see the actual inner ear right here is not wet at all, but everything else around it is. And I'm just applying more and more shampoo as I go. So her ears are really saturated everywhere. And now I'm just gonna slowly work on her face. So she's fighting a little bit less. When I get around her nose, she seems to be more sensitive right there. But once you get all the shampoo on their face, they kind of seem to surrender a little bit. So just give it some time. Your dog might have moments where they freak out, but these moments are always sandwiched between moments of calm. So in the moments of calm, that's when we can get our work done. So just be patient with your dog if they're having a hard time, and just see what you can do, and try not to overly baby talk if you can. If you can have a partner with you giving treats, that's amazing too. I've never tried the lick mats, but I'm really curious about them. And I'm just really working it in. This is the yucky part. If your dog has a really yucky face, sometimes I'll just put a little shampoo right there and just work it in. Get it in there. But if your dog has a really yucky face, do this twice. But when you do it the first time, make sure you rinse it all the way out. So what I'm gonna do with her, because her face is so yucky, I'm going to get it saturated all the way to the root, completely wet and clean. And then I'm going to rinse it really well and do it a second time. So many feelings, so many emotions. You're doing so great. I'm kind of like holding her head down like this with this hand, because she just hates her front nose, like she hates this area touched. So the best thing you can do for that, if your dog just really hates it, if they're like thrashing around, just have a calm energy. Don't have any opinion or judgment on their behavior. Sort of have a neutral, calm energy yourself. And just do your best. Sometimes it takes a little while for the dog to build trust. She just doesn't really like it and doesn't trust the process. I'm really working it in. And I want to work it in for like a good 5 minutes. So if she happens to get shampoo in her eyes, let's say she's thrashing around and then there's shampoo in the eyes, all you have to do is you can just rinse the eyes and start over and just rewash the eyes, or you can just rinse your thumb. Rinse your thumb like this and just start wiping like this. Rinse the thumb again and wipe. And use your best judgment. If it seems to still have shampoo in the eyes, then you could just really rinse it well. Okay, so I've worked this in really, really well for the last 5 minutes or so. This is the yucky part right here. And the lips. She hates the lips. Okay, so now that it's really, really worked in, now we're gonna rinse. And again, I'm gonna start with the ears. This helps desensitize her. When I rinse her ears, I'm not really opening the ear like this. I can because she has such long ears. But if your dog is squirming a lot, you're not gonna wanna have the ears open like this. So keep them down and just rinse from behind like this, and use your left hand or your non-dominant hand, whatever you're using to get the water in. Use that other hand to work the water through. And just doing it this way, I'm actually getting under the ear as well. I'm gonna let the water go on the top of the head, just the top of the head, and I'm gonna let it cascade down. She wants to shake, so I'm gonna let her shake for a sec. Okay, really light, gentle stream of water, and I'm just gonna mostly do the top of her head. And you can see it comes down, and then I'm gonna wipe it away. Using my left hand to work the water in. I'm gonna let her move around. She can try to avoid, she can move around. I just wanna make it so that it's a little bit easier for her to move around. I don't wanna try to pin her down. Just doing the squeeze bottle, just to get the sides of her face. She needs to look up. I'm not gonna force her to look down. I'm gonna let her look down. I'm just not gonna stop working. Good girl. And a lot of smush-nosed dogs react this way to water. So what I just did was I kind of cascaded the water all over her face like this. And then see how it drips down? Then I use my thumbs to kind of wipe the area clean. You can also do a smell test right now. Hi. It smells pretty clean actually, but I'm gonna still do another one for safety, just to get everything. So I'm gonna do the whole process again. I'm gonna do another facial, And then that's really all you have to do, and just spend some time washing your dog's face, especially if your dog has issues with like crusties or tear stains. This is the best thing you can do to keep your dog's face clean and smelling delicious. For more tips on taking the best care of your dog, head over to jessronacourses.com and check out my pet parent course. I hope that all of your smush face dogs are clean and gorgeous and kissable.